Choosing how to react to this situation, your lifelong instincts will tell you to do one thing, but I implore you to do the opposite. Let the games begin.
You knew, you just felt it in your bones. Something bad happened. And I knew. I don't know how I knew. But the call said my wife was dead, my daughter was dead, and I wasn't sure how my sons were going to make it.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow, it's like a fairy tale. It is like a very disturbing political fairy tale. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? According to Jill's ex-husband, it is all bogus because they knew each other for years. They were good friends. Jill Biden, the prospective First Lady of the United States, her ex-husband Bill Stevenson has written a book I can exclusively reveal. In this book manuscript, he devotes 80 pages to new bombshell details about Joe and Jill Biden, including details from their time knowing each other and being very good friends in the state of Delaware. And it's especially traitorous because Bill Stevenson basically propped up Joe Biden's political career in 1972 when Joe Biden ran for the Senate. Bill Stevenson was, in fact, a donor who helped with the Joe Biden campaign. Now, let's take a look at the way that Joe and Jill Biden have always described how they met.
For this couple, it started 35 years ago when a young widowed father went on a blind date with a mature co-ed and fell madly in love.
Love at first sight.
Well, it sounds stupid, but really and truly, I mean, the second date we went out, I called her and said, would you do me a favor? Would you not go out with anyone again for a while?
And the boys literally asked that you marry her.
Bo said, Daddy, we were talking. We think we should marry Jill.
And they were the easiest part of the marriage.
Good morning again, Robin. Yeah, this was a wide-ranging interview where no questions were off limits. And when I sat down with Hunter Biden at his home in Los Angeles, he opened up about his relationship with his father, his feelings about President Trump and his children, and his tough battle with addiction.
You're on pretty much everyone's lips now.
Yeah.
By the way, whatever happened to Hunter? Where the hell is he?
It went to Hunter Biden.
It was Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden's.
Is it the first thing you think about when you wake up, the last thing you think about when you go to bed?
No, it really isn't. And the reason is because I know where I stand with my dad. I know where I stand with my family. It's not something that I go to bed nervous about at night at all. I think that the truth always wins.
Do you think you're a distraction right now to your father's campaign?
No, personally, myself, I'm not necessarily a distraction to his campaign.
And then now here we are in 2020, folks. So if you're freaked out by this, so am I. But I've met with high-level executives of top defense contractors and top, you name it, and they've confirmed we're on target and that this is real, that there's a dark side cult that uses this to compromise, and there's everybody else that's not involved in it, but it's just so crazy. How do you even deal with it? How do you tell somebody it's going on? Because no one will believe you. It's so crazy. But it's just like MS-13 makes you to become an actual member, not just an associate. You've got to go torture a young girl to death because that's seen as taboo. So just type in MS-13, tortured, 11-year-old girl to death in satanic ritual. You'll see thousands of articles about it and hundreds of known cases because that's how they get that group. They're just copying what the big boys do. You understand, they're bringing in the big tech censorship because they're blackmailed. Pelosi's blackmailed. Hillary's blackmailed. Bill is blackmailed. And these groups go around seeing how many people they can blackmail to see how many people they can get under the control of their network. And again, people go and want the payoffs and want the power, and they go, yeah, you got to do this initiation so we know you're cool. You got to get a hard on. You got to go in and screw a 10-year-old. So that's what this is, folks. This is not a game.
Hunter Biden's one of those slaves. Sadly, instead of trying to help his family, Joe exploits his family, especially Hunter, in what seems to be a deeply rooted criminal enterprise. And we're going to get to that in a second. But here's the thing. The left keeps reporting that we're all victims of Russian disinformation, which is how they're trying to explain the scandal away, but it's not working. The scandal just keeps growing and growing larger. And folks, this isn't Russian interference or disinformation. This is an idiot, druggy kid, well, adult kid, accidentally screwing the family.
哪些东西啊？黄色视频啊，这个虐童视频，一家一家的啊，这个亨特拜登的，这个就是黄色的啊，极其黄的啊，可以说是啊，虐童的，极其让人看到完全就把中国人不当人的这个啊，这是谁拍的？中共拍的，中共拍的啊。这个真的就是啊，远超过咱们的想象。这个局真的是要，不仅仅是要把14亿人啊，把联合国真的是要把美国彻底，美国的总统啊，未来的哪个总统，未来多少年以后的多少任总统，但是。这就阴差阳错啊，就到了川普总统手上。当然了，很多人说这个他们有没有川普总统的那个？告诉大家，川普总统肯定没有啊，因为他没有跟中共啊有这个层面的勾兑。有的人说会不会影响？因为毕竟是拜登儿子，会不会影响拜登？那这个事情，那就看选民们怎么看了，是吧？但是这个里头对拜登儿子这个事情，那就是另外一回事了，那就是司法的事情了。里面还有包括布伦伯格的事情也全在里面，布伦伯格也在这个硬盘里头都有，还有包括生物武器的这个啊第三个硬盘都在里面。这3个硬盘啊，据说啊，到了川普总统手上。
This is a document that you will not see anywhere at this point. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because there will be every effort to censor, block, and stop you from hearing this information from the social media, from the Democrats, and tragically from most of your networks that have, for over 2 years, been covering up crimes at the highest levels of several governments. But in future days, you will see texts, emails, and photos that demonstrate crimes committed by the Biden crime family in China, probably most of all, Russia, and several other countries. Second, Obama kept appointing him point man. He kept getting millions for his family. Why did Obama never stop it? Actually, it was suspected and written in the newspapers. Why didn't Obama stop it? Or did he know about it? Not just such a crazy question when you consider that there's a very similar scheme on the part of the Clintons to sell the office of Secretary of State. And finally, just how often has he lied and made a fool out of you? And just how bad is our media for having covered it up?
He's a criminal. He got caught, read his laptop, and you know who's a criminal? You're a criminal for not reporting it. You are a criminal for not reporting it.
Did you know that a bunch of people working for Biden have connections to big tech and vice versa? Biden's transition team includes Jessica Hertz, a prominent Facebook executive. Carlos Monje, I think that's how you say it, I really don't care, is also on Biden's team, though his former job was that of Twitter's Director of Public Policy. 8 other members of Biden's advisory team worked for Facebook, Apple, Google, and Amazon, but you know, nothing to see here, right? Just look the other way, right? It starts to make you understand how and why the censorship of the New York Post happened, how the breaking news on this subject has been largely censored and silenced, along with everyone else involved, regardless of affiliation. The Bidens are in cahoots and deeply embedded with the mainstream media, big tech, and well-established government entities like the FBI. The skinny of it is that the FBI has been sitting on this information since last year. Like we said earlier, the FBI did nothing about this data and have a ton of explaining to do. Look, folks, this stuff's a mess. When they say the swamp runs deep, they obviously mean it. I feel like for every crony Trump fires, 2 more pop up. It's like throwing water on a freaking gremlin. We all want arrests. We all want to see these corrupt swamp rats carted off to Gitmo. But I think FBI Director Wray symbolizes some of the roadblocks to the effective, long-lasting, positive change we really want in this country. We don't want to move away from our way of life like the left wants to. We want to refine it. We want to solidify it. We want to reignite the American spirit in all of us. These roadblocks, along with the ungodly amount of evidence most likely necessary they make this process very difficult. I also think there's a third aspect we don't really take into consideration. We say, hey, you have the damn evidence, just arrest people. But there's a historical perspective that must be examined. And I think the Durhams and Bill Barrs of this world have to make decisions that hold historical weight. Whatever they determine in some of these cases will most likely shape American life for the next possible centuries. We have the power to save this country, but we have to wake up. We have to fight. We have to save our children and drain the swamp once and for all.
Nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette.